Justin Como, ended up admitting to creating thousands of illegal images of children taken at an amusement park and at least one middle school using a version of an AI model Stable Diffusion, according to federal agents who presented the case to a group of law enforcement officials in Australia earlier this month. Como has been indicted for a range of Hcim crimes in Florida, including allegations that he actually abused real people. But he was not charged for something like AI Hcim production. Now, obviously, at the time, this was a little bit different. Now, there are actually people being hit. The point of it was that he went to a public place like Disneyland, where a bunch of children were walking around, had a video of them, or maybe photos, right? People sometimes take public photos or videos in public environments. And sometimes it can be innocuous, like some photographer wants to test their abilities on, live subjects, right? Or sometimes it can be really sick, disgusting stuff, like this individual using it for illegal purposes. Now, obviously, this is a huge problem, and it's one thing that I didn't want to walk away from this video and not at least mention. One of the other things that I started seeing floating around was not just the illegal uses, but obviously when it came to misinformation as well too. A lot of the internet is now covered with AI nonsense, and if we're going to go with the vector that 90% of the content on the internet by this year alone is going to be AI generated, I mean, when we talk about things like the dead internet theory, and I've talked about it months ago, but the dead internet theory is not a theory. It's actually quite a reality. As you all know, year over year, a lot of internet traffic nowadays is starting to happen with actual bots or AIs or synthetic actual traffic, as opposed to actual human beings engaging with the internet as it was initially designed for. So when it comes to videos and photos, this image that I saw coming out of war side of the internet that's discussing actual warfare, was an image of what appeared to be an F-35 jet. Now, can you determine what the problem with this image is? If you can't determine the problem with the images, look at the scale of the people, look at the scale of the actual environment, and then just look at the scale of this F-35 jet. There is no fucking conceivable way, from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, engineers at Boeing, Raytheon, or whatever, that a jet should be that fucking big. I don't even think you can generate the fucking thrust to get that off the ground. I don't even know if that's VTOL capable, which from my understanding, fighter jets kind of are, okay? This is a blatant lie. But it didn't stop the lie from being shared around the world, especially in war TikTok, where misinformation is actually a fucking serious problem. Misinformation can lead to serious actual implications. People are walking around believing everything that they see, even though the generation of AI video assets and audio assets have become so routine and easy that even if you don't have access to these subscription services, but you're sitting on hardware, you can generate this stuff at the comfort of your own home. Now, even in this video alone, in the first 10 seconds, I used an AI asset generation tool in order to create a commentary splice of me talking. Now, I'm sure if, I'm probably going to wager that 99.9% of you guys figured out that it was actually AI, because it fails to capture my actual vocal implications or anything of that nature. But I feel like if you had me on a second monitor, you probably wouldn't care all that much. And that's where I'm thinking a lot of the actual AI generated stuff you're about to see in the next couple months, maybe the next year, is headed to, okay? Right now, some of the most popular creators in the world are people like Asmongold and whatnot. And it's not really going to be that difficult to replace people like that or talking heads, even me, let's be completely honest, with an AI that can absolutely talk or distribute whatever kind of information anybody wants within seconds. It takes me hours to put a video together, right? To talk about something, to have an interest in something, to edit it together. It takes an AI one prompt and just the ability for it to generate on a cloud of different servers, all to do the same, right? If you're talking about internet content being replaced by synthetic stuff as opposed to real creators, it's just a simple matter of the fact that obviously those real creators could never output the same level of content regardless of how easy their content is to make or how difficult it is, when all it takes is an AI a prompt and maybe a few minutes to a few hours at best. But to go back to this clip, right? What's scary about this is obviously one actual senator from the Philippines, Ronald Bato de la Rosa, actually ended up sharing this around thinking that it was real. And obviously, there were some points that were called out. For instance, the license plate on this rickshaw didn't make any sense. The logo on this kid's shirt didn't make any sense. That sign in the back didn't make any sense. And what the fuck is going on with this rickshaw over here? Obviously, there are tells, but not enough for the average person to start getting, right? It used to be funny when we were laughing at Will Smith eating spaghetti, because obviously I think even a blind person could have told that one apart, but not when it comes to stuff like this. So again, the reason why I wanted to have this range of conversation is not to talk about the over AI generation of the internet. That's a problem that's going to happen regardless of whether you want it to want it to happen or not. But the problem is when like misinformation or like actual politicians share around crazy shit. Now, we live in crazy times right now. There's a lot of war going on everywhere. And I'm sure, like many of you who are my age, I'm sure you always are inundated with posts on social media where there's like a new missile attack somewhere or like a new war crime happening somewhere. And it's kind of disgusting, in my opinion, to almost question everything, right? Like, not that questioning everything is bad, but every time you see a tragedy on the internet, you have to wonder, is this even real footage? Is this AI generated? Like, how do I even tell what's real and what isn't anymore? That's the scary part about it. Even if you extrapolate it, like to get really scary, I don't even think that any of you guys watching my videos are real. I don't even think any interaction that I'm having online for the last couple months is actually even real anymore. I really do think that, you know, if there was a case to be made that the entire internet has been replaced by fake interactions and bots and AIs and engagement farmers from parts of the world that we're never going to see or never even going to hear about, yeah, this is where it's at, man. I mean, that's the internet. You know, back in the day before the era of social media, I really felt like the people that I talked to on, you know, MIRC, the people that I engaged with on forums were real individuals, right? Even when it comes to platforms like Twitter, right, which introduced revenue sharing, Elon Musk actually put a group of 8 people out of Hanoi in Vietnam into a lawsuit because they programmatically posted computer-generated content to a network of inauthentic X profiles set up using stolen identities to engage in coordinated platform manipulation. So again, these people were basically abusing the Twitter like payout system to basically earn a crazy wage where they lived. But it's not just these guys that you have to worry about. Half the people that I've seen on the platform that are constantly rage baiting, engagement farming, there's a pretty good chance that the person that claims to be from the United States is probably some random guy from a village in India where earning $100 on X is better than finding any regular job in their area. And all they really do is benefit off of misinforming or making people just angry for the sake of it. And again, this AI stuff can either be used for, again, innocuous purposes like making AI ASMR all the way to the most evil ends, where we've seen people utilizing AI to generate, like, of course, CSAM or actual illegal content. Now, you might be like, man, maybe these AI companies will put in safeguards, right, Muda, so that we can't generate illegal shit. That's not even true. There are companies like Tencent that have basically released their entire AI models like Hcim video literally out for the world to try. So you see all these AI videos that are generated and they look pretty damn good. I'm sure some of these types of AI videos will probably end up making it into Hollywood or like on YouTube. And the thing is, it's completely available for you to try right now on your computer. And you want to know how I know? It's because I've done it. Now, I'm not going to guide you through the exact ways on how to do this, but literally on a tool known as Comfy UI, I was able to absolutely download a few models off the internet completely for free. So if you go over here, you can browse tons of templates. So you can browse things like video generation. So you can use one, you can use that, which Hcim video right over here. You can even engage, from what I understand, I think VO2 is actually on here at some point. I have to exactly find it. But there's plenty of these video models available. There's tons of image generation models that are available. And of course, obviously, there's upscaling stuff. And the thing is, with these video models, the scary part is you can actually customize these open source models to remove the safeguards off of them. And then you can use these to generate AI videos completely locally. So for instance, it took me 488 seconds to make this 5-second clip on my 4090. So to show you what it looks like, all right, I'm going to hit play right over here, and it's not terribly impressive, but again, it's just a skyline that's drifting. And mind you, this is without connecting to a server. This is literally just generated on my actual local hardware. When I fed it a prompt like a whale flying through